I'm gonna say I'm not very impressed with a particular video that didn't mention anything about a vacuum pump. Yeah, go back and check, you sure didn't. So, to put your vacuum pump on, get it at top dead center, okay? Then just put it on, they say. I tried that. But this, of course, needs to be spun to match the keyway when you put it on there, okay? That's not the issue. Oh no, that's not the issue. Of course you get a new gasket, of course you gotta get new bolts for this. But, you go to put it on, with everything being great and dandy, and this corner is going to make contact with this right here. This right here. Can't now, can it? That's your high pressure fuel pump. You gotta take it out of the vacuum pump so that you can do what I just did, so that you can slide it on there. And that is the problem that I was having. 4 days. Actually, that's funny, about 4 days that I was having that problem. So, yeah, now you know, now I know. Coil spark plugs in there. Make sure you gap your spark plugs. The ones that came out of this car wasn't gapped right. So the guy might have had misfires. So, gap your spark plugs. And I did spray a little bit of PB Blaster with a little device I made called a straw being taped to the straw. And I tried not to get any PB on the threads of the spark plug, so I had my flywheel sitting on there, right here. What I didn't have sitting on there was this behind it, so I had to take it off. Those bolts are one-time use. Thankfully, I didn't yield them, so I can use them again. Don't really think I'm gonna have to upgrade anything back here ever again. I got the rear main seal from 034, so I'm not using a factory pressed in piece of junk. I gotta start hooking up all the wires and putting all the pipes in, and a little bit of hard lines and whatever else, but yeah. Alright, I got the crank pulley torqued on there, out of the car. I don't know who said it couldn't be done. You can see it was a little bit of a struggle a couple times, but hey, you know, that's probably why you do it in the car. But it only wanted to tip like a little bit. Okay, there you go. You know, it's not impossible. So I'm gonna get the transmission on, and after it's on and everything is up in the air, I'm gonna show you how you can get this motor in there, because I didn't show you how to get it out. So it's there. I really don't know how to get it up in there properly, but I guess we'll see. Alright, I'm not gonna lie. I did forget to film a couple of things, but it's nothing too exciting. So I just threw all the wiring back up on top of it. If you're taking it off, just record yourself taking it off, because I wish I did. The wiring kind of came easy, it just kind of all fell into place, but these hoses, yeah, those hoses. I don't need to say much more. That transmission going back on there, it wasn't too bad. You know, just either put it on a pallet or on a furniture mover. Basically a couple of 2x4s in a square with caster wheels on the bottom. You know, you can roll it up right into it, or just do it on a pallet like I did, and I don't know if I got lucky or what, but basically you need it to spline up the input shaft with the flywheel. So you might have to turn the crank a little bit. I had to, but luckily I didn't have to turn it all the way around 360 degrees before I found it. It was rather fast, so that's why I think I'm lucky. The starter went on, you know, just as easy as it should. I was having a problem with my other vehicle, same kind of motor. It's not a Gen 3, but I couldn't put my starter on there too well because my flywheel was locked up. Because I brought it to the motor, the transmission, with the bolts, and that's a no-no. Get it flush without any bolts in it. I guess you can put a bolt into it, just don't tighten the bolt. Only do it kind of, you know, hand tight and bring it to it. Make sure that it's the same gap at the top and the bottom as you bring it to it, so that you're not, you know, bending that input shaft. And another thing with that transmission, I'll tell you, get this around this plate right here. You're gonna have to basically hook it around the motor, and then you can bring that other side to it, or else you're gonna have to take that piece off right here, which is possible. I've seen it, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to put it back on there. So yeah, to make sure you did it right, you can. It's a dual mass flywheel, so it has to be under load to actually engage the flywheel. I'm not sure if normal flywheels do that. I really don't. I'm new to this, and I was thinking that I could spin the crank over and I could see those CV axles moving, but nope. I thought if I made the shifter like in drive, you know, put it in drive, whichever click that was, that I would see it do it. No. Dual mass flywheel, it's got a piece on the inside of the flywheel that locks up under a mass, I guess, something like that. So this is my project, and I'm pretty stoked. I've come a long way. Really, I have. I didn't know anything about this, and I got this car, and the motor's been out. As you can see, I didn't take the front clip off. I didn't have it in the service mode, they would call it, for Audis, at least I know. I just took the hood off. Shout out Mumbo Repairs, though. He taught me that one. You don't need to take the whole front clip off. You can drop it out the bottom, you can take it out the front, and you can lift it right out the top. You can. It's just the deal is you got to get it like this. It'll come up. So that's how it's got to go in. Right? And that's just to get it down under this frame, more importantly, but this as well. And of course, I didn't record myself putting it in the car. I didn't record myself taking it out either. I know, what a dork, right? But I just got so excited, I didn't even set up the tripod for a time lapse. My best advice for you though is getting a load leveler so that you can go in horizontally. And of course, I was struggling to put the CV axle in on the driver's side because it is so short. If you are doing this, you will struggle too, I promise you. But basically, you need something that will go in the hole of the axle and the hole of the threads without, you know, messing up the threads. And it needs to bottom out on the axle so that you can also push it in. It's a little confusing, but if you're doing this, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. You need to push it in and lift it up so that you can actually start a bolt. You can't start a bolt in the bolt hole that you're actually lifting and pushing in. You have to start it with another one. So you have to have it rotated as well to the right spot. And that's how I got it done, with the combination of lifting it up and pushing it in with a screwdriver and letting the jack down with the jack stand under the suspension assembly so that it lifted it up and it made it more straight, which is what I was trying to accomplish in the beginning with taking it all the way out. But yeah, you just can't do it that way. That's basically backwards. So don't do that. I had one of these bolts cross thread, so I needed to get a thread chaser. I ended up getting the wrong thread chaser, so now I've got the correct one. And well, boys, it's time I make the threads correct. So I tapped it. I mean, I just chased it kinda and made the threads how it was. I fixed my mistake. And if I can do this, then you definitely can do this too. So if you panic and you do mess something up, don't worry, you can actually still fix it if it's not completely broken, whatever you did. And still to this day, I'm missing a little bit of CV axle grease, but hey, I did it to myself. If you do take it out and you tip it the wrong way, it will just pour right out of the bolt hole. But I haven't heard any grinding yet, so I guess I'm okay. Worst comes to worst though, I just have to replace the CV axle and go through this again, but now I know how to go through it the right way. I don't want anybody else to go through that. I don't care about gatekeeping secrets to make money. I really don't. I could have, but here I am putting you guys on how to fix these things. And right there, I'm gonna ask for a subscribe or at least a like on the video. You can always change your mind later. You could even unlike the video later if you really thought I did something wrong. Give me a little subscribe, give me a little like on the video, because this is 10 years old and I'm honestly quite impressed with myself. I got this car again for $3,000. If you haven't tuned in, now you know. And this motor was completely out. I don't know a lot of people that are my age doing this. So I primed the oil. I let it crank over. It cranks over. That's what I'm talking about. So it's rebuilt, boys. I plugged in the coil packs. I plugged in I put the fuse in for the low pressure fuel pump. I just leaked my drink on my foot. It runs. It runs! Here it goes. So I know it runs. But does it knock? The reason I got this car was because it was knocking, not because it didn't run. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get to driving this thing.